So this is the beginning of day 6. So we find out that there are some monks coming and going today. If you remember, Lady Marian asked us to go to the fens and try and regain that scroll with the hand outline. We can try visiting the widow, she's not here. We can actually try and visit the willow. Marian is not here, so if you remember, the day before we actually saw 2 monks on the Watling Street. So depending on the one that you encounter the day before, you will see the other one. So at this point we see the black monk. So Lady Marian informed us that these guys are actually trained soldiers, and so we can try talking to the guy. Nothing will happen. We can actually try bribing him. We can try shooting him, but then we will receive a challenge. So now we're getting challenged to a battle of quarterstaff. Now we can actually say no and shoot the guy, or we can say yes. Now if we say no, we will still get his robe and his stuff, but we won't get the full point, so we better as well accept the challenge and try and be a bit ethical about it. So I'm just gonna save this point here. Call it fighting. Because there is a small chance we can actually lose this fight and we'll end up dead. So thank God Little John actually has a staff that we can use as in the fight. Now remember, it's very important that you have the arcade difficulty as low as possible, otherwise this will become very difficult to win. So So now we actually need to go here, but before going here I'm gonna show you something interesting. Again, there is nothing that we can do here. We can go into the pub. Very little that we can do here. We get some inside information that these guys are actually very bad guys. They actually slaughter children. Can actually try and go into the castle. But if we go here, we can actually say some bad words to the abbot and piss him off. So now Robin is insulting the abbot several times throughout this conversation. You don't really need to do this, you don't get any points, it's just something for fun. So now we go to fence area again. Need to go to the swamp. Now our main task here is to enter the monastery and to regain that scroll that Lady Marian asked, which has the hand outline. Now, from the moment we got this whistle and we have this pouch. Now if we open the pouch, we'll find that there are several gemstones. Now these gemstones, you really need to have the manual at this point in front of you, because you're gonna need it in a few minutes when you get at the entry of the monastery. Otherwise you won't be able to gain entry. So if you remember at the beginning of the game, I showed you an Easter egg with the Loch Ness Monster coming ashore. This will not work if you wear anything else besides the outfit of Robin Hood, and I think it only works on the first day. I'm not really sure if it works on the other days. It's just a nice Easter egg that you can actually enjoy a bit. So you need to remember that these guys are actually very aggressive, so you better do whatever they tell you and try to keep as low profile as possible. So if you try and talk to him while he's taking you across, if you try to do anything else, he will just kick you off the boat and you will drown and die. So one thing which amazes me in this game is the music. The music is something which has always astounded me. Not only the quality, but how suiting it is to each specific scene. So we reach the entry of the monastery. So this guy will not let us in until we show him some stuff. Showed him the first thing that we had. We better not show him this. We need to show him the gemstones. At this point you need the manual, because we need to prove ourselves of the knowledge of the lore of the gemstones. we are right, we will pass. If we make even one mistake, then this guy will kill us. So I'll better just save, just in case we make a mistake in answering this. So the dwarf lengthens, the corn withers in my field, and a witch curses me with a glance. What should you give me? So without lengthen, so we need So I think the first one is related to, well, the second one, the corn withers in my field, actually is related to this gemstone, which says that it brings good crops. So that's correct. A witch curses me with a glance. A witch. So this stone says that it controls demons and has power in the underworld where the dead walk. So now this is the questionable one. The dwarf lengthens. So I think is this stone which says that it symbolizes the power of water. So gonna be either correct or wrong on this one. Yeah, so good. I must ride upon a fiery horse. So the first stone probably should be this one, which says it keeps horses from becoming lame. So Luval is fitted with others. So again, this has to do with the demons. So I'm pretty sure it's this stone again, which says it controls demons and has powers in the underworld. And seek the fate that awaits me. So I know of my head that this refers to the stone of destiny, which is a sapphire, which is actually this stone here. So in summer my ice does not melt. So in summer my ice does not melt. I think the first stone should be this one, because it says it is petrified ice, frozen so hard it will not thaw. So the red eye becomes clear. Oh. It cures diseases of the eyes, so it's stone number 5, so it should be this one. And demons run when I raise my hand. So not sure, but I hope is this one again related to the demons. So yeah, that's it. We managed to go through it this time. Again, I'm saying that this might not make too much sense if you don't have the manual. You really need the manual because it gives you a very clear explanation what each of the gemstones does. So now we're inside the monastery. So we find out that they actually hold a prisoner inside the monastery. So we better try and find out who the prisoner is. Here there is nothing that you can see. See that in here we have the prisoner, so better try and interrupt. So he's telling us that he will be in the scribe's room. He tells us to try and increase the torture of this poor guy. So the first thing we want to do, because we are decent people, we want to lower the guy from his rope, tie him so that he rests a bit. We find out that this guy is Falk the Jester. He's actually the Jester of King Richard himself. The Jester has never heard of Robin Hood. So Robin Hood says that he doesn't want to leave the jest of the king here, so he wants to gain his trust. So Falk is telling us that he needs his verses for some reason over there or another. The scroll wrapped around a wooden cylinder, so the prior has taken that scroll. So we get the information that if we return the scroll, then we will gain his trust. So again we can try talking to him, but nothing will happen. There is not really many rooms that we can go into the monastery. Now This tower is actually locked, so we cannot go there. And if you remember, Prior told us that he's going into the scribe's room, so we need to cheat our way and force the Prior to leave. So this is Falk's scroll that we need to give back to him so that we can gain his trust. Now we need to remember our main task for coming here. So Lady Marian asked us to return to her a scroll which has a hand inscription, and this is the scroll. So this is the second thing that we need to do here, and we need to find some information about this monastery, and the information that we need to find is something which will help us escape. If we, people usually escape without realizing why they have to do what they do, so I'm gonna try and explain it to people. So this scroll talks about the history of this monastery. So we find out about the guardians of the gate. Cogito the thinker, Malicia the malicious, Ineptus the foolish, Vocalis the speaker, Juvenus the hungry, Hilaris the jolly, and Deformis the ugly. So when you've touched the face of wisdom and the face of that which hungers, then will the fool's tongue be loosened and the path made clear. So this gives us the information we need to escape the monastery, actually. So when we find this gate, we need to touch the face of wisdom, we need to touch the face of hunger, and we need to pull the fool's tongue. Now it makes little sense at this point, but without this information you are not able to escape the castle, the monastery, without looking at the walkthrough. So understanding what that scroll says gives you an understanding how to escape. So if you want to gain Falk's trust, you cannot bribe him at this moment because he still doesn't trust you enough, so you need to give him his scroll. So Falk is helping us escape through a secret path. Now, in order to get the full points, we actually need to give some money to Falk. doesn't matter how much. So this is the gate. Without without understanding the scroll that we read before upstairs, we will not be able to get through the gate unless we look at the walkthrough. So this is the fool. This is the wise. This is a hungry guy. So it says that we need to touch the face of wisdom. Then we need to touch the face of hunger. And then we can pull the fool's tongue. And this will open the gate and we can escape. So Falk is giving us his verses, the scroll that we actually saved for him, he's giving it back to us. So Falk is telling us that if we try and decipher these verses, we will be able to find the key to unlock the Ring of Fire, which the Ring of Fire is now enclosed in that box that we stole from the abbot. So you see, Falk is actually leaving, so if you didn't give him the money while waiting at the boat, you will not be able to get the points at this point. So it's important that you do that, otherwise at the end of the day you will not be able to reach the full 7,325 points, to the full score.